What if I told you that the balance in your mind could be worth far more than the balance in your bank account? That there's a hidden code running your financial life right now and you don't even know it's there. Most people believe their money problems come from the economy, bad luck, or not earning enough. But the truth, your external world, is just a reflection of your internal world. And in turbulent times, when markets crash, jobs vanish, and uncertainty fills the air, that hidden code decides whether you sink or rise. I'm Harv Eker, and today I'm pulling back the curtain on the real reason some people grow richer in chaos while others lose everything. You've been told to budget, to save, to invest. That's fine. But here's what they don't tell you. None of that works for long. If your money blueprint is set to fail, this blueprint is like the thermostat in your home. No matter how high or low the temperature outside, the thermostat will pull it back to the setting inside. In the same way, no matter how much money you make, your mind will always pull you back to the level you are programmed for. But here's the twist most people miss. You didn't create that setting yourself. It was programmed into you long before you had a choice, from the things you heard as a child, from how your parents handled or mishandled money, from the beliefs and fears passed down like family heirlooms. Maybe you heard money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy. Maybe you saw money cause fights, or you watched it slip away again and again. Without realizing it, you took those experiences and made them rules, and now those rules are deciding your future. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to find that hidden setting and change it fast. We're not talking about wishful thinking or repeating mantras in the mirror. I'm talking about rewiring your brain so your thoughts, feelings, and actions all line up with wealth, even in the worst of times. I'll share how the rich use fear differently, why they spot opportunities in disasters, and the secret daily habits that turn turbulence into advantage. These are strategies that aren't in most books, the kind I've only shared in my high-level trainings, and they work whether the market is booming or burning. Here's why you'll want to watch until the end. I'm going to reveal a specific exercise, one you can do in less than 5 minutes that starts to shift your money blueprint instantly. This isn't theory. I've used this with people who went from debt and panic to steady growth and security in months. And in times like these, when the rules of money are changing faster than ever, this could be the single most important skill you learn this year. You'll also hear a lesser-known story from my own life, a moment when I lost almost everything. Most people only see the success, the seminars, the best-selling books. What they don't know is there was a point when I was drowning in failure, feeling like my dreams were slipping through my fingers. That's when I discovered that survival wasn't about hustling harder. It was about thinking differently. That shift didn't just save me, it set me up to thrive in conditions that destroyed others. By the time you finish this video, you'll understand the real game of money. You'll see how your current results are just a shadow of your current beliefs and how to reprogram those beliefs to match the life you actually want. You'll learn how to stop sabotaging your own financial growth without even knowing it. And you'll walk away with tools you can start using today, tools that work in good times and bad. So if you've ever felt trapped by your financial situation, if you've ever wondered why you can't seem to get ahead, no matter how hard you work, stay right here. The answer isn't out there, it's in here. And when you master this, no recession, no job loss, no market crash can take your wealth away. Welcome to Harv Eker Motivation. If you're ready to change not just your income, but your entire financial destiny, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're about to break the chains that have been holding you back. Before we talk about the steps to creating wealth in turbulent times, we have to talk about something that most people have never even heard of, but it controls every financial decision you make. I call it your money blueprint. Think of it like the wiring in your house. You can plug in the fanciest appliances, the best technology, but if the wiring is faulty, the power will flicker, the lights will go out, and nothing will work the way it should. Your money blueprint is that internal wiring for your finances. It's the subconscious script that tells you how to think, feel, and act when it comes to money. And here's the most shocking part. You didn't choose that script. It was installed in you long before you could think for yourself. From the moment you were born, you were absorbing beliefs, attitudes, and emotions about money. You heard things, you saw things, you experienced things, and your young mind took all of that in like wet cement, ready to harden into the foundation of your financial life. Maybe you grew up in a home where money was always tight. You heard arguments about bills. You saw stress on your parents' faces when the rent was due. You felt the tension when a big expense came up, like fixing the car or buying school supplies. Those moments didn't just pass by, they shaped you. Without realizing it, you might have decided money is scarce or money causes pain. That became part of your blueprint. On the other hand, maybe you grew up in a family that was well off, but you heard things like, we can't afford that, even when it wasn't true, or you heard, don't talk about money, it's rude. You learned to associate money with secrecy or maybe even shame. That's also part of your blueprint. And here's the thing, your blueprint doesn't care about logic. It's not based on what's true, it's based on what you perceived at the time. If, as a child, you saw your parents lose money in a business, you might have decided business is risky, and now decades later, you avoid entrepreneurship without even knowing why. If you saw someone in your family make a lot of money and then get criticized or envied, you might have decided, if I get rich, people won't like me, so you unconsciously keep your income below a certain point. This is why two people can take the same financial course, learn the same strategies, and one becomes wealthy while the other stays stuck. It's not about the knowledge. It's about the internal script running the show. If your blueprint says money is dangerous, you'll sabotage yourself the moment you start getting ahead. You might spend recklessly, invest in something you don't understand, or suddenly forget to follow through on opportunities. It's not that you want to fail. It's that your subconscious is pulling you back to what feels safe and familiar. Let's make it real. Imagine your money blueprint is set to $50,000 a year. That's your comfort zone. If you suddenly start earning $100,000, your subconscious alarm goes off. It says, this isn't you, this is risky. Let's get back to normal. So maybe you take on unnecessary expenses, or you invest in a bad deal, or you stop doing the things that got you the higher income in the first place. Before you know it, you're right back where you started, around $50,000. The reverse is also true. If your blueprint is set higher than your current results, you'll find ways to climb back up. If someone with a $200,000 blueprint loses their job, they'll quickly take action, find new opportunities, and get back to that level. It's not luck, it's wiring. And remember, this blueprint operates under the surface. You might think you're making decisions based on logic, but your subconscious is filtering every choice through its own programming. It's like a hidden thermostat for your wealth. No matter what happens outside, it will adjust your results to match the internal setting. So where does this programming come from? Three main sources: verbal conditioning, modeling, and specific incidents. Verbal conditioning is what you heard growing up. Phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are selfish, we're not the kind of people who have money. Modeling is what you saw, the way your parents, relatives, and community handled money. Did they save? Did they spend? Did they argue about it? Did they invest? Specific incidents are powerful events tied to money: losing a job, getting a surprise windfall, a business success, a bankruptcy. These moments stick in your mind and shape how you react for the rest of your life. For example, I remember a man from one of my seminars who grew up watching his father gamble away the family's savings. That one pattern left such a deep mark that as an adult, he refused to invest in anything at all. Not even safe, sensible opportunities, because he associated investing with loss and betrayal. Another student told me she grew up hearing her mother say, we're just not good with money. Decades later, she realized she had been living out that exact belief, always finding ways to mismanage her finances, even when she made plenty. The truth is, your money blueprint isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about identity. It answers the question, who am I when it comes to money? And the answer you've been living with might not be your own. It might be your parents' answer, or your culture's, or a mixture of past experiences. And here's why this matters in turbulent times. When the economy shakes, people don't just lose money, they revert to their deepest programming. If your blueprint is set for scarcity, fear, and survival, that's where you'll go. You'll focus on cutting back, playing it safe, and hoping to ride out the storm. If your blueprint is set for abundance, opportunity, and growth, you'll look for ways to create, to innovate, to find the hidden openings that appear when others are panicking. This is why changing your external situation without changing your internal programming is temporary at best. You can land a high-paying job, but if your blueprint says, I'm not worth this much, you'll find a way to lose it. You can get a big payout, but if your blueprint says, money leaves me, it will. You can read all the financial books in the world, but if your blueprint says, money is hard, you'll make it hard. The good news is a blueprint can be changed. Just like you can rewire a house or update the software on your computer, you can reprogram your subconscious to match the financial life you want. But the first step is awareness. You have to recognize that you even have a blueprint. You have to look back and see where it came from, what it's been telling you, and how it's been running your life. When you understand that your money habits aren't random, they're not personality quirks, and they're not fixed traits, they're the result of programming, you realize something powerful. If it was programmed in, it can be programmed out. That's the moment you stop being a victim of your past and start becoming the architect of your future. Everything you do with money, every choice you make starts in the same place. Your thoughts, most people think their actions are separate from their thoughts, but the truth is, there's a very clear chain that runs your entire financial life. It looks like this. Your thoughts create your feelings lead to your actions, and your actions produce your results. That's it. That's the formula for wealth or poverty, success or failure, in good times and in bad. Let's break it down. Suppose you have a thought like, I'm not good with money. That thought doesn't just sit there. It creates a feeling. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's shame, maybe it's hopelessness. When you feel anxious or hopeless about money, what kind of actions do you take? You might avoid looking at your bank account. You might ignore bills until they're overdue. You might pass on learning how to invest because it feels overwhelming. And what results do those actions bring? Usually more debt, less savings, and the confirmation that you were never good with money in the first place. Now, flip it. Imagine your thought is, I can learn to manage money well. That creates a different feeling, confidence or at least curiosity. Those feelings lead to different actions. You might read a book, take a course, ask for advice, start tracking your expenses. Those actions bring different results. Less waste, more savings, smarter decisions. And now you've got evidence that you can in fact be good with money. The thought becomes reality. This is why changing your beliefs is so powerful. If you change the thought at the start of the chain, the rest of it changes automatically. New feelings, new actions, new results. Most people try to change results directly. They want more income, less debt, a bigger savings account, but they skip the thoughts and feelings that drive everything. It's like trying to change the fruit without touching the roots. It doesn't work for long. This brings us to one of the biggest mindset differences between rich and poor thinking. People with a rich mindset start with the belief, I create my life. They see themselves as the cause, not the effect. If something isn't working, they ask, what can I do differently? They look for solutions, they take responsibility, and they act from the belief that their choices shape their destiny. People with a poor mindset often live by a different belief. Life happens to me. They see themselves as the effect, not the cause. If they lose a job, it's because the company was unfair, the economy is bad, or luck is against them. If they miss an opportunity, they blame circumstances, other people, or the way things are. The danger with this belief is that it leaves you powerless. If life is just happening to you, then nothing you do really matters, so why take action? Your perception becomes your reality. If you believe you're in control, you'll notice opportunities you can act on. If you believe you're at the mercy of the world, you'll overlook the same opportunities because your mind filters them out. It's not that the rich have more chances, it's that they see and act on chances the poor mindset ignores. During turbulent times, this difference gets even sharper. The rich mindset sees chaos as a chance to create. The poor mindset sees chaos as a reason to freeze. The same economy, the same headlines, but two completely different responses because of two completely different beliefs. And this is where the concept of the wealth files comes in. These are 17 specific ways of thinking and acting that separate rich mindsets from poor ones. Each wealth file is like a mental switch you can flip to change your entire approach to money. When the world is uncertain, these switches make the difference between growth and decline. One wealth file says, rich people act in spite of fear. Most people wait for fear to disappear before they move. They think they need to feel ready, comfortable, or certain. But in reality, fear never completely goes away. It just changes form. Rich-minded people understand that fear is natural. They don't wait for it to vanish, they move forward with it. In turbulent times, this means they're the first to explore new markets, adapt to new conditions, and invest in possibilities while others are still frozen. Another wealth file says rich people manage their money wisely. In calm times, mismanaging money might not destroy you. You can get by on luck, credit, or steady income. But in volatile times, bad management is fatal. Rich-minded people know exactly where their money is going. They save, they invest, and they allocate resources with intention. It's not about being cheap. It's about directing every dollar with purpose. They might use systems like the JARS method, splitting income into categories like necessities, investments, education, and play, so that even in chaos, their financial foundation stays strong. The key thing about these wealth files is that they're habits of thought first, habits of action second. If you try to copy the action without the mindset, it won't stick. You might force yourself to budget for a few weeks, but if your belief says, I'm bad with money, you'll eventually sabotage yourself. When you adopt a mindset, the action follows naturally and it lasts. Take act in spite of fear. If your belief is fear means stop, you'll never truly live this wealth file. But if you replace it with fear means go carefully, but go, then when fear comes, you'll see it as a signal you're growing, not a sign to retreat. That one change in thought will create different feelings, courage instead of panic, leading to different actions like making the call, taking the meeting, launching the idea. Those actions will bring different results, and over time, those results will reinforce the belief. It's the same with manage your money wisely. If your belief is money is here to be enjoyed, not managed, you'll resist tracking it because it feels restrictive. But if you shift to managing money creates freedom, then the action of budgeting feels empowering, not limiting. That belief will create feelings of control and security, which lead to consistent actions like reviewing your accounts weekly, saving a percentage of every income, and investing regularly. The results, more savings, less stress, then strengthen the belief that management brings freedom. In times of uncertainty, these mindset shifts become survival tools. The belief, I create my life, pushes you to adapt when the rules change. The wealth file act in spite of fear keeps you moving while others hesitate. The wealth file manage your money wisely, protects you from losses and positions you for opportunities. And all of it starts with a single thought, because when you change the thought, you change the feeling. When you change the feeling, you change the action. And when you change the action, you change the result. That's why the rich mindset isn't about having more money. It's about having a different chain reaction. The thoughts are different. The feelings are different. The actions are different. And so the results are different. The good news is this chain works both ways. If you've been running the poor mindset chain, you can switch it. It takes awareness, it takes intention, and it takes practice. But once you see that your results are not random, they're the natural end of a chain you control, you realize you're not stuck with what you've got. You can build a new chain link by link, starting right now. Right now, the world feels like it's spinning faster than ever. Markets are unpredictable, industries are changing overnight, and the news can make it seem like everything is on the edge. In times like these, most people rush to find a perfect strategy, a new investment trick, a business model, or a financial shortcut that promises safety. But here's the truth. In uncertainty, mindset is more powerful than strategy. You can have the best plan in the world, but if your mind is ruled by fear, doubt, and scarcity, you'll hesitate, you'll second guess, and you'll miss your moment. I've seen people with no formal plan succeed simply because they believed they could, and I've seen people with brilliant strategies fail because they didn't trust themselves enough to act. When markets shake, the rules change, and strategy often needs to be rewritten. But a strong mindset, one rooted in responsibility, resourcefulness, and resilience, works in any environment. It gives you the courage to move when others are frozen, the creativity to see opportunities where others see dead ends, and the persistence to keep going when the easy path disappears. Reconditioning your mind is the real secret to thriving when the ground feels unsteady. It's like upgrading your internal operating system. You stop running on old fears and outdated beliefs, and you start running on clarity and conviction. That upgrade allows you to adapt faster, recover quicker, and even turn chaos into advantage. In fact, some of the greatest fortunes in history were built during economic downturns, not because those people had magical strategies, but because they had trained their minds to look for the win in any situation. And once your mindset is solid, you need systems to back it up. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools I've taught for years is the JARS system. It's a way to manage your money that works no matter how much or how little you're earning. The idea is simple. Every dollar you earn gets divided into separate jars or accounts, each with a specific purpose. The power is in the habit, not the amount. Here's how it works. The first jar is your necessities jar, money for essentials like rent, food, and utilities. The second is your long-term savings for spending jar, big purchases you plan for in advance like a car or vacation. The third is your education jar, money to invest in yourself, your skills, and your growth. The fourth is your financial freedom jar. This is for investments and passive income streams, the money that works for you. The fifth is your play jar. Yes, you heard me right. Money just for fun, enjoyment, and celebrating life. And the sixth is your give jar, money you use to help others, support causes, and contribute. The beauty of this system is that it creates balance. You're not just surviving, you're building, learning, enjoying, and giving all at once. Even if you start with small amounts, $5 in each jar, the act of dividing your money this way reconditions your brain to manage wealth. It tells your subconscious, I am someone who organizes money with intention, and over time, that identity changes how you earn, spend, and grow. But tools like the JAR system only work if your underlying blueprint supports them. If deep down you believe you're bad with money, you'll resist the system or sabotage it. That's why changing your blueprint is so important. The first step is awareness. You have to notice the beliefs you've been carrying about money, beliefs that may have been planted decades ago. Ask yourself, what did I hear about money growing up? What did I see? What did I experience? This helps you uncover the programming that's been running in the background. The second step is to challenge those beliefs. Just because you heard money is hard to get doesn't make it true. Just because you saw someone lose money doesn't mean you will. When you identify a limiting belief, ask yourself, is this absolutely true? Where's the proof? Who would I be without this belief? This questioning starts to loosen the grip of old programming. The third step is to adopt new beliefs, ones that support the results you want. If you've been living with, I'm not good with money, replace it with, I learn and grow in my money skills every day. If your old belief was there's never enough, shift it to there's always a way to create more. The mind responds to repetition, so these new beliefs need to be practiced daily until they feel natural. One of the most effective ways to lock in new beliefs is through affirmations. I'm not talking about mindless repetition. I'm talking about intentional, emotionally charged statements you say out loud every day. For example, I am a master of my money. I manage it with skill and purpose. Money works for me and grows while I sleep. When you say this with energy, you're not just speaking words, you're creating new neural pathways, training your brain to see and act from this new reality. You can also reinforce your new blueprint with small daily actions. If you want to believe you're a good money manager, do something every day that proves it. Check your accounts, move a small amount into savings, read a page of a financial book. The action sends a signal to your brain, this is who I am now. Over time, the belief and the behavior lock into place, and that's when results start to shift. During uncertain times, these practices become your anchor. While others are glued to the headlines, paralyzed by fear, you're reinforcing beliefs that keep you steady and moving forward. While others are hoping things will go back to normal, you're building habits and systems that will serve you no matter what the new normal looks like. The combination of a reconditioned mind, a simple system like the jars, and daily reinforcement of new beliefs gives you the ultimate advantage in turbulent times. You stop being at the mercy of the economy and start being in control of your own financial destiny. And once you truly get that mindset beats strategy and uncertainty, you'll never look at money or challenges the same way again. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in human life. It's built into us. It's what kept our ancestors alive when danger lurked around every corner. But in today's world, fear often shows up when we're not in physical danger at all. It shows up when we're about to take a risk, speak up, try something new, or step out of our comfort zone. Most people think the goal is to eliminate fear, but here's the truth. Fear never really goes away. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who succeed is simple. Successful people act despite fear. A rich mindset doesn't wait for the fear to disappear. It recognizes fear as a signal, not a stop sign. It says, I feel it, but I'm moving forward anyway. That's the difference. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be courageous. Courage is the act of moving forward in the presence of fear. And every time you do it, you send a message to your subconscious mind that you are bigger than your fears, that you are in charge, and that you won't let a feeling decide your future. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone who's been thinking about investing for years, but keeps holding back. They tell themselves, what if I lose money? That fear keeps them frozen. Now imagine instead they start small. Maybe they put just $50 into a stock or a savings account, or they buy a single share of a company they believe in. It's not about the size of the investment. It's about training their brain to act. That small step builds confidence, and the next step feels a little easier. Before long, they're making moves they never thought they could. Or think about opportunities that come in the form of invitations and offer to collaborate, a chance to speak at an event, a possibility to travel for work. Well, most people decline because it feels too uncertain, too far outside their comfort zone. But the wealthy mindset says, I'll figure it out as I go. Saying yes in those moments often leads to connections, ideas, and doors opening that you could never have predicted. Fear likes to disguise itself as logic. It whispers, this isn't the right time, or you need to prepare more, or wait until things settle down. But if you look closely, you'll realize things rarely settle down. The right time is almost never obvious. If you want to grow, you have to learn to take action when things are messy, when your hands are shaking, when the outcome isn't guaranteed. That's when growth happens. That's when you train yourself to trust your own resourcefulness. And here's something else. When fear is loud, opportunity is often close. Fear spikes when you're on the edge of something meaningful, when you're about to cross into new territory. That's why so many people sabotage their own success right before a breakthrough. They think fear means stop, but fear often means go. Which brings us to another key mindset. Focus on opportunities, not obstacles. In times of chaos, the average mind zooms in on problems. It lists everything that's wrong, every reason something won't work, every potential disaster. And what you focus on expands. If you keep staring at the wall, all you see is the wall. But if you shift your attention to the space between the bricks, you'll see there's a way through. In business, in investing, in personal growth, chaos is loaded with opportunities. Prices drop, competitors freeze, people need new solutions. But you can only spot those chances if your mind is tuned to look for them. That's why the wealthy mindset trains itself to scan for the gap, the angle, the opening. I've seen this in my own life and in countless others. Two people can look at the exact same situation, say a sudden market downturn. One says it's over, everything's falling apart. The other says this is the time to buy assets at a discount. The facts are the same. The difference is the focus. One is looking at the obstacle, the other is looking at the opportunity. Focusing on opportunities doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending challenges don't exist. It means acknowledging them, then deliberately asking, where's the advantage here? What can I do with this? That single question shifts your brain from survival mode into creative mode. Survival mode shuts down possibility. Creative mode opens it up. Opportunities aren't always huge or obvious. Sometimes they're small. So small, most people miss them. It could be an underutilized skill you have that suddenly becomes valuable. It could be a chance to learn a new platform before it goes mainstream. It could be meeting someone at a coffee shop who introduces you to your next business partner. If you're focused on problems, you'll walk right past these moments. But if you're focused on opportunity, you'll spot them, grab them, and run with them. One way to train this focus is to make it a daily practice. Every morning, ask yourself, what opportunities exist for me today? Write down at least 3. They don't have to be earth-shattering. They could be as simple as, I can connect with someone I haven't spoken to in years, or I can test a new idea I've been thinking about, or I can take a course that could increase my value. By practicing this, you're programming your brain to scan for chances instead of obstacles. And here's the beautiful part. Once your brain starts looking for opportunities, it starts finding them everywhere. It's like when you decide to buy a certain kind of car and suddenly you see that car on every street. The opportunities were always there. Your attention just wasn't tuned to notice them. This is why fear and opportunity are so closely linked. Fear often shows up right before an opportunity appears. If you've trained yourself to act despite fear, you'll catch those opportunities while everyone else is still hesitating. That's the edge the wealthy mindset has, not that they don't feel fear, but that they don't let it decide for them. In turbulent times, when most people are focused on what's wrong, the few who focus on what's possible have a massive advantage. They see openings where others see dead ends. They take action while others are still debating. And because they move first, they reap the rewards while others are still stuck in analysis or avoidance. The truth is, both fear and opportunity will always be there. The question is, which one will you give your attention to? The rich mindset knows the answer. It feels the fear, acts anyway, and keeps its eyes locked on what can be gained rather than what could be lost. That's not just how you survive uncertain times. That's how you turn them into your greatest breakthroughs. When you put it all together, the truth is simple. Your mindset, combined with small, consistent habits, will shape your financial destiny. And in tough times, this becomes even more important. Strategies can shift. Markets can rise and fall, but the one thing you always have control over is how you think and how you act. Your mind can be your wealth, even when the world isn't. The way you choose to see money, opportunity, and yourself will either hold you back or set you free. So here's your challenge. Think of one money belief you'll change today. Just one. Replace it with something that empowers you, and then take one small action that matches it. That's how transformation starts. One belief, one action, one result at a time. If this message helped you, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Together, we'll keep building the mindset that creates wealth, no matter what's happening out there.